Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have the settings video for Battlefield 6. Do you understand? It took me 3 days to get this down perfectly for my liking, right? As far as the controls, the graphics and all that, I finally got it down to show you guys. Maybe you guys could copy my settings and tweak it for, you know, for yourself and see how you like it. If you guys do enjoy these type of videos, make sure to hit the like button and please subscribe. Let's get right into it. All right, so we are here in the Battlefield 6 menu. We're gonna start with accessibility. Okay, I understand things are a little bit everywhere, right? You could get controller settings here, you could get controller settings in controller. It's confusing a little bit for me, but here we are. I needed to take at least 2 days to get this down perfectly fine and play the game and realize, oh, I don't like this like this, and go back into the training. Oh, I don't like this like this. Okay, this is perfect. So we finally got it down right. Okay, now we are in the menu. Narration, you don't need that. Turn that off. Subtitles, I keep it on. It's not that crazy. It doesn't block any of my view while I'm shooting something or in game. It's pretty cool, so I'll leave it alone. The master volume, for now, I have it at 100%. We just gonna leave it like that for now, but you could tweak, like I said, you could tweak it as much as you want. Let's go down. The color profiles, I haven't messed with that. I feel like it's set pretty good. I just left that alone. Also, the world brightness, I left it at 50%. Now, camera effect, you will need to tweak this. World motion blur, I dropped it all the way down to 0. Weapon motion blur, I dropped it all to 0. Okay, now what that does is, if you're, let's say, shooting at one person in the game and then you want to turn to shoot at another person, you get that blurriness in the background. You don't want that, right? As far as cinematic view, if you're just being competitive and you know what I'm saying, you don't want that if you're being competitive. Now, if you're just playing the campaign and you want it to feel as much cinematic as it can feel, then yes, go ahead and, you know, leave it how it is, and you can experience that. But if you're trying to be competitive, I would go ahead and, you know, put all of this down to 0. And as far as infantry HUD motion, I left that on. Camera shake, I dropped that all the way down to 50. The sprint camera bobbing, I turned that off because it's crazy. And of course, chromatic and infantry crosshair projection, they're both off. So the controls, hold and toggle, right? Infantry sprint, I left that on toggle. It feels the best for me. The double tap forward sprint, I left that on just sprint. Crouch toggle, I left that on stand. Vehicle boost toggle. Crouch slide, all. Double tap crouch for sprint, I left that on. Infantry weapon zoom is hold, vehicle is hold, steady scope is hold. Of course, interact with reload is very important, because especially in when the Battlefield Battle Royale comes out, I am going to switch this to prioritize, well, yeah, interact to tap and hold to reload, right? Because you're going to be opening up boxes, you're going to be opening up doors, blah, blah, blah. But in, like, right now, the multiplayer, you're not doing any of that. So I'm prioritizing the reload because I'm not doing anything else. So I'm leaving it on prioritizing reload for now. Interacts, toggle, skip, revive, hold, request revive, toggle, mount breakout, instant. And also the rows, hold, scoreboard, hold. I could actually toggle would be nice for the scoreboard, so that way I could just tap it and then it just shows up. So that's pretty good. I just find out where that was. This is what I'm saying. You got to keep going back to the settings to make sure everything is good, because everything is kind of everywhere, and accessibility has a little bit of everything in that menu. So it's kind of crazy. The controller vibration, definitely turning that off. You don't need to mess with anything else because you have the controller vibration off. You could just leave it. The chat, that's fine. And I have tutorials, everything off, because I get the hint. And I left the hints for the vehicle control hints and action prompts and peek hint, I left them on. You know what I'm saying? Why not? It's not really bothering me. Now let's get to the gameplay. Okay, with the vertical look, that is off. Okay, you don't want that on. Vertical look setting, you don't want any of these on. Okay, just leave it like that. The whole toggle, I believe we went through this, So that's what I'm saying. The accessibility has a little bit of everything in it. So you may have went through this already. So this is where it's very, very important. Infantry. Okay. This is basically your aim assist, your how fast you're moving, how fast your aim is moving. For me, I started out with 29. Okay. And I gradually moved it up because it was a little bit slower. I didn't know where I wanted to be. So I gradually moved it up. I feel like 35 for me works perfect, right? It works beautiful. So 35, you could try it out. Let me know what you think, or you could bring it up a little bit more. The mouse aim sensitivity, I left at 20 because I'm not using a mouse at this point. The double tap is on sprint, crouch is on stand, over sprint is on. All of these are on, okay? All of these are on. Parachute is normal for now. I'm leaving that alone until the battle royale comes out. The roll camera and landing roll, I left that on. That's pretty kind of cool. I left that on. The mount type, side and up, I like that. The mount breakout, instant mount preset combo, peak type, side and up, interact and reload. We went over this already, so that's perfect. And then the vehicle aim, I left everything how it is. I haven't messed with any of this, so therefore I'm not that deep into vehicles yet. And I feel like it's this will have to be in stages. So next thing I'm gonna try to master is gonna be the air. Right now I'm just trying to master the ground. I could barely do that, so let's do one thing at a time. And then aim assist, I left it at standard. I know a lot of people are rocking the where is it? They're rocking the BF1 plus BF4 aim assist type. But I feel like for me, standard has been working pretty well, and I just left it at that. Everything is on standard. You guys could copy it. It's right here. I just kind of left it at that. Now, very, very important because it's a lot. So I'm trying to get through this as fast as possible. The controller settings. Here, once again, we have the 35 as far as our aim sensitivity. The field of view, I'm rocking 120. The vertical aim ratio and the zoom sensitivity coefficient, those I left alone because they're pretty good where it's at, right? Especially if you're rocking a 27-inch monitor, you'll be fine. And then infantry aim assist, I left that at 100%. Assist slowdown, definitely 100%. Zoom snap, 100%. It feels good to me. Now you can play around with those. I wouldn't mess with the coefficient and the vertical aim ratio. I would kind of like leave those alone, but that's just all up to you. And then we have the aim type curve. Like I said, standard is going pretty well for me, so I'm leaving it there. And the left and right acceleration is at 50. All right, now we are into movement. Infantry sprint, I left that on toggle. The double tap forward sprint, that is on sprint. And all of this was technically standard. I haven't changed anything in this. I tried the double tap crouch for sprint slide. I had that off. I turned it back on. It felt better. So I haven't really messed with anything else as far as in the movement category. The zoom category, I did mess with that because I felt like it was a little too fast for me when I was going right to left or even up and down. I was missing my target. So as far as the zoom, this category, I did mess with this a little bit. The infantry weapon zoom is also standard. I didn't mess with any of these four up top, but what I did mess with is the zoom aim sensitivity. I dropped all of mine to 80. And as far as like the iron sights, your 1.0 zoom, your 1.25 zooms, all the way up to 2.5 zooms, I mean 3x, I am using it at 80. I feel like the more you have as far as of a zoom, like a 3x, a 4x, or even sniping zooms, you want that to be faster. You don't want that to be slower. So I left it at 100% for those. I may tweak it if I end up sniping more, but right now I'm using a lot of 1x to 3x zoom, so I only mess with those. I haven't really sniped yet, but I want it to be a little bit faster than I would use my iron sight to my 3x. I do want it to be faster because, you know, people are further, so I want it to be a little bit faster so I could track it better with a higher zoom. So I just left it all the way to 10x at 100%. So in the other category, everything is left on standard. I have not messed with any of these really. It feels great, but I did disable the gyro. I did leave the flick look on always. I didn't touch any of these 3 items right there because it already feels pretty good. And if we go back in infantry, still in your controller settings, okay, if you go back here, you can always scroll down the ground vehicle, transport vehicle, aircraft, and the helicopters. Gunner joystick is the most important in this category right here besides the controller settings. All those gunner and vehicles and helicopter, I haven't really messed with those yet because I'm still trying to get the ground control perfect. Now if you go to joysticks, okay, here you can actually look at your dead zone. Okay, now your dead zone will also matter because of depends on the controller you have. For me, I could run at a 2 dead zone because my controller basically has no dead zone, right? I ran at 1, it didn't make a difference. I could basically have this at 0 and it'll still be fine, and it's great. So depending on your controller, depending on how much like dead zone you have in your controller, that will indicate what you need to put this at. Basically it with this one. The UI control mapping, I haven't really messed with any of these. Also, I feel like the standard works great. I don't need to do anything in that regard. The controller tuning, once again, here is where you need to hone down a little bit more. Vibration, once again, off. Okay, we don't need to work with any of these. Now the left stick, I'm gonna drop this down to 2. Okay, and then the right stick, I'm also gonna drop this down to 2. And if you really think about it, if you're really thinking about COD, okay, the max input threshold, you want to keep this at 100%. All right, and then also the trigger dead zone, you don't want any dead zone with the left trigger or the right trigger. Just leave it how it is. Just drop your dead zones. That's all you need to do. Okay, to be honest with you, this one's very important and the controller tuning is very important. All right, now we're gonna go into the graphics settings where it's very, very, very unique, and I'm intrigued and I love it because this game looks very, very, very good. This might be the best looking FPS game I've ever played. I played COD, all the CODs that you can think of. I played a lot of FPS games, okay? But Battlefield 6 looks great. And not only that, I'm running it at the highest that you can run it at, which is called overkill. I have a 4090 and an i9 1400 KS. Okay, this thing is running smooth and I'm still getting over 240 frames easy. Okay, with all the explosions happening, all of that, I'm still getting great frames. And I just don't understand how Call of Duty cannot do that. At this point, I'm wondering if it's they don't want to, it's laziness, or they don't care to. But Battlefield 6 is doing it right. That's in my opinion. Don't kill me for it, but in my opinion, I think they are doing it right. So in the graphics settings, like I said, I'm running the overkill. It's beautiful. The game is beautiful. The world brightness, I left it at that. Let's go to quality settings, okay? So you guys could really see what I'm talking about. Everything's on high. Everything is on high and it's running beautiful. Okay, world brightness 50, UI brightness 50, sharpness 50. I left it at that. It's really not killing me. The fixed resolution, you might want to leave this on 100%. There's no point of messing with it. The frame rate limiter, I left off. I don't want anything capping my frames. I don't want that at all. Enable plus boost or reflex low latency. It works. Just put it on there, okay? And the upscaling technique, I left it on I put it on DLSS. Okay, it is beautiful. Quality off. As far as the overlay for the performance, I left that on simple. And if you scroll down to the camera settings, once again, field of view 120, third person field of view is at 83, which is max. Wide like I said, weapon motion blur, all of that is on 0. We went through this already. Display, I do mine on full screen 100%. I love it. My monitor 1440, aspect ratios on auto. Okay, vertical sync, that should be off. Okay, don't have that on. And then everything else as far as interface and HUD, I left all of these on. I'm not messing with it a lot. I actually went into this and kill feed icon, ping notifications, and then we'll ping in the kill feed. Sure, I'll do that one. And also my mini map is on large. That's the only change that I really made in this section right here. Okay, view rotation on, of course, interior zoom, I left that off. Big map, everything is on default. I really didn't mess with any of this yet. I'm not sure if I'll go back and maybe start messing with it, but I just wanted to get the ground control things going. And this is exactly what I mean by there's settings. The settings are kind of everywhere, and they're kind of doubling them up in different categories. It is kind of different, but because we've went through the camera settings, even in graphics, even in its accessibility, like it's everywhere, which is good and bad at the same time, because it could create more headache for no reason. You know what I'm saying? You could simplify the settings UI a little bit better, in my opinion. But after that, the game is beautifully felt, looks, everything. So as far as graphics, we're done with that. Let's go to audio. I left 100%. It sounds great. I love the way the game sounds in general in my ear. The configuration, mine is set on 7.1 surround. The War Tapes, best audio mix in my opinion. It's either the regular War Tapes or the War Tapes VAL. In my opinion, everything is submersive. Like, I'm in it. I'm talking in it, you know? So it's like, if it feels in, like, I don't know how to describe it. When you guys playing it, you let me know in the comments how you think it feels when you're like hearing it. The game sounds amazing. Audio in the background, I left that on. Enable voice chat, of course. I want to talk to my teammates. Mine is on push to talk because I don't want them hearing me crashing out sometimes when I get killed. So as far as that, that's what mine looks like. The only thing I changed was push to talk, and everything else is kind of the same. I just left it alone. Now if I scroll down, accessibility, stereo balance, that's on 0. I left all of this alone, and the only thing I turned off was the radio music, because, you know, streaming, I don't want to get anything copyright or anything like that, so I left it the way it is. You go to system, I didn't touch anything in system. Streamer mode, I'm glad that they have one, but I don't need to turn it on. I'm not that popular. So yeah, everything else is pretty standard. You could just leave it alone. And as far as network goes, the data sharing, I left it on. The scoreboard ping, that is on. I mean that is off. I don't really need to see other players ping. It doesn't really matter to me. I didn't even go into these yet. I don't think I'm going to, because I don't think it's gonna matter as much. Oh, so that's pretty good. As far as the network widgets, if you go in system and then you go all the way down to the network graph, you could turn the widget on and then show the network performance bar. So if you have a problem with your packet loss or anything like that, that's when you'll see it. But if everything is running smooth, you won't see it. And also that goes for the latency. If you have a problem with your latency, then you'll see it. But if you don't have a problem with the latency, then you won't see it. So I just learned something new making this video. Look at that, just by going through the settings some more. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, I'm trying to grow this channel to be bigger, right? Because I enjoy you guys, and I'm starting to learn how to make these YouTube videos, and it's not something that comes easy. You need to work at it. You need to practice it. You need to practice doing it, right? It's just like everything else. So I would much appreciate if you hit that like button and subscribe, and make sure to say something in the comments, because I'm still learning this game. This is my first BF6. This is my first Battlefield game in general. 2042 I bought. It was so ass, I didn't even play it. I think I played like an hour of it, and I was like, I'm good. But this one I'm really trying, because I want to, you know, diverse my portfolio. So please, if you guys have any comments, please put them in the comment section, so that way I can know, I can learn, and we can learn together. I hope you guys have a wonderful night.